host on this show have captivated America? Because the views expressed by the host on this show are right, are founded in common sense.
Hang on a minute. Let me get back toward Main Street here, back to 117.
That's why you see hysterical people out there.
This is a special edition of the Rush Limbaugh program.
You got it.
America Held Hostage. And now, from our studios in New York City, here is Rush Limbaugh.
Day 91 of the raw deal, the Clinton presidency. We're high atop the EIB building here in Midtown Manhattan from the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. I'd like to hear from you. 800-282-2882. Some more mail here regarding the Waco, Texas situation yesterday with a Branch Davidian compound destruction. And I'm sure, let's see, did I look over to the phone bank? Yep, I see some couple more calls about this. There are other things in the news. I'm going to get to them here in the monologue, but just a couple of more notes. 3 here, and I guess this should do it. This is from Savannah, Georgia, and Tom Brower. Dear Rush, although there may be now or in the future reasons to regret the presence of Miss Reno at the Department of Justice, the Waco incident is surely not one of them. Although it pains me to no end to give compliments to the administration, I think that she acted properly, and the results show that you can never 100% predict the outcome of a battle. The response of the second-guessers and the Monday morning quarterbacks, egged on by the media, should be fair warning to the Clintons that the piranha do not really discriminate between Republicans and Democrats when the story is really gory. There is, in fact, it is interesting to watch the media cover this thing and to read what the media thinks of how the media covered this thing today, and I did that a bit, read a little bit of it. There's I can't remember, I don't think I cut this out, because remember, I don't really care about this. I'm just doing this because I know that some of you people do. Yeah, I didn't cut it out. I think it's Matt Roush, USA Today, wrote a piece in which he, and I may be taking this out of context, or I may not understand what he meant, but he said nobody wanted it to end this way. Yeah, there was a lot of excitement among the press. They liked the story. It was an exciting place to be, but nobody wanted it to end this way. My question, what is the, how can I phrase this? What vested interest does the press have in the outcome anyway? They're not there to do anything other than cover what does happen. Their choice of outcome, it's a curious thing to, not even the press enjoyed seeing it end this way. So who did? Then, of course, current affair last night, Maureen O'Boyle, an interview with David Koresh's mother while she's watching the place burn. How are you feeling right now? I mean, some of this stuff is just, I'm telling you, folks, this is where we get desensitized to all this. Is it any wonder? I don't care. I don't give a hoot. I was close there. I was. I'll admit it. Dear Rush, this is Donald J. Perkins. This administration's the most backward thing I've ever seen when it comes to responsibilities. They encourage people to believe that they have the freedom to do whatever they want and not be responsible for their actions. But when David Koresh and some of his followers decide to torch themselves, Koresh and friends are not responsible. The FBI and Justice Departments are. People are talking of resignations and firings over this. None of them are responsible for the actions of Koresh or any of the other wackos who set the fire. Is the message of liberal government not only we'll take care of you, but we'll be responsible for all of your decisions? Don't worry about how badly you screw up your own life or anybody else's, because we'll take the heat? Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration. And let's see, do I have, yeah. Rush, nobody seems to know why the federal government raided the Waco compound. Some people say stockpiling guns. Is that illegal? I understand they just wanted to be left alone, study the Bible. They were in the middle of nowhere, bothering no one. Is this a case of the government out of control? Ray McClure. Hank Stanley from Bonita, California. Hank listens to the show twice out there. Listens to 6 hours of this show every day. Rush, now the media is characterizing the Waco operation as a debacle. The FBI should have anticipated the Davidians would attempt suicide. Now, is it just me, or does anyone else think this whole idea was to bring a 51-day standoff to a conclusion, safely and uneventfully if possible, but if not, as efficiently and quickly as possible? The cops never fired a shot yesterday. The cultists performed self-immolation. Another case, another attempt to make the case that the people inside are responsible for what happened to them, not the FBI and not the ATF. You know, this is something that has been so obscured in our society for so long. People are not responsible for their plight. They're not responsible for their actions. They're not responsible for... You got a guy gets drunk. This is routine now in America. Gets drunk and then falls in front of a moving subway train, for example, here in New York. Loses a leg. Sues the subway system for not having warning signs up or something that preventing him while drunk from falling in front of the train, and wins millions. And all of this to the cumulative effect. It's like last year's campaign. You keep hearing how rotten the economy is when it isn't. You believe it after a while. And when you got people pummeling you every day with how wacko we are and how weirdo we are, but it's normal, and you shouldn't condemn it and so forth. I keep harking back to it, but I think it's valid. Now, a little bit more on Dan's Bake Sale. May 22nd, Fort Collins, Colorado. The billboards, 15 of them, are soon to be erected in northern Colorado promoting Dan's Bake Sale. What is this, the Old Town Square is where they're going to do this? That's where they're going to do it, but it's going to swell beyond the ability of the Old Town Square to hold this large crowd. I'm telling you, this is going to be big. They're going to be fly-ins for this. If people desperate for a good time, people desperate for good cheer, and you know, people in Colorado have been so beaten up the past 6 months over how rotten they are that they're looking to have a good time too. So you're going to have people from all over the fruited plain flying for this thing, not just from Colorado. You have Colorado residents as well. It's going to be huge. And I saw a photo, a prototype of the billboard that was going up, and I finally put my foot down. I'm tired of using these pictures that are 60 pounds old and 2 years old. These are idiot pictures. What are you frowning at, Mamone? Yes, the 60 pounds ago. I mean, I'm a little smaller than I was. We've got some good pictures. So I put my foot down today, like that, and I demanded, stop the production line. I'm going to get a new picture out there and put on these billboards. If it costs some extra setup, then fine, we're going to pay it. We're going to get it done right. And that's exactly what's happened. So they're in maybe a 2 or 3 day delay on getting the billboards up, but that's all right. Jack Jolly of Root Outdoors being very cooperative, wanting only the best on these billboards. No, you can't crop it. Plus, I'm taking the cookie out of the picture. They had me in the stupidest pose, my eyes wide open and bright, and making, you know, the OK sign with your index finger and thumb. Hey, man, everything's... holding a cookie with a bite haven't been taken out of it. No way. Not gonna chocolate chip cookie. I said, no way. I finally put my foot down, so that's gonna be taken out of there. Now, let me tell you this, folks. Bill Bennett has long had a wager on the table with me. He thinks that he can win a contest. Name that tune type contest with 50s and 60s rock and roll songs. Now, he's a little older than I am, and he has more contact with some of these 50s oldies as a fan than I do. I mean, I've played that stuff as a DJ because I've worked as a DJ in oldies formats. But I didn't grow up. I mean, it did not make an indelible impression. I have no memories associated with those songs from the period of time I was growing up like he does. I would think that even though I've played that stuff, when you're a DJ and you have to play songs you don't like, that's when you take calls from the groupies. You don't listen to the songs most of the songs you don't like anyway, because they make you play. That's the record rotation. You have no choice in the matter. So I'm a bit disadvantaged. He called in today and said, let's do it at this guy's bake sale. Let's put up a stage and let's do this thing and find a way to raise money for charity and do this Name That Tune contest between you and me. Because he thinks, see, here's the thing. He knows that he is a smart guy. Bill Bennett is an intellectual. Great thing about Bill Bennett is that he is among the most intelligent men in America, but he can talk to anybody and make them love him. He's one of us. He's just an average guy, but he's also brilliant, and he has the ability to communicate to people from all walks of life and to hear what they say and understand and be able to communicate to them. He's just very good at it. And to prove that, what intellectual knows Joey D and the Starlighters songs? What intellectual will ever even admit to having heard of Joey D and the Starlighters? Or the Coasters? Or take your Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers? So he does these things to prove how well-rounded he is and what a real guy he is. So he wants to make this bet with me. And I'm still not sure I can make it out there. Because I won't know for a little while because there's a scheduling conflict that I've got to work out, and I've got to. You have to cancel something, you make somebody mad, and when I cancel something, you really get mad because most of the time when I cancel something, it's been scheduled for a year or two. Gosh, we've been planning on this for a year. We've got tickets sold. We're giving away the Winnebago that day. You gotta be. Oh, how are we gonna check? But I'm confident that we'll be able to work it out. But I can't say for sure. So that's what's going on with Dan Bake Sale, and we've got. Little bits of information that are rolling in here every day as to who's going and what kind of things are going to go on. And now there's a blues band, is that right? We have working on a blues band. Now what about the arts and crafts thing that you were telling me a minute ago? Is that in there too? See, all right, okay. You people may remember that I was not critical, but I sort of made fun of arts and crafts the other day on this show. Arts and crafts shows, the basket weavers, the people that get up out there and look like they're left over from The Sound of Music and Mary Poppins, and they're out there selling their wares. And it turns out that Dan works at arts and crafts. That's his job. That's the guy's job. And I made a joke that the arts and crafts people, if they ever have music which accompanies their efforts, it's always Puff the Magic Dragon by Peter, Paul, and Mary. So Dan's out there looking for a group that'll sing Puff the Magic Dragon where the arts and crafts display is. So it's gearing up. We'll take a break. Be back with your calls. A couple of things from the new chairman of the NAACP. That's the National Association for the Advancement of Liberal Colored People, Benjamin Chavis, and Senator George Mitchell said some things both yesterday which are astounding to me. Back after this.
You're listening to the EIB Network. What kind of health insurance reform does America want? Listen to what America says.
The most important thing to me is the right to choose my own doctor.
Well, the number one priority should be that everybody be insured.
I do know, yes, we have to curb hospital and medical costs.
It's real difficult for a small business such as ourselves to be able to afford health care and give it to our employees.
It would have to be something that would cover my pre-existing conditions.
The best health care in the world for everyone in America. That's what America wants. There is a reform proposal supported by consumers, businesses, health care workers, and insurers. Everyone is covered for primary, preventive, and catastrophic care. You and not the government choose your doctor and your insurer. It's coverage everyone can get, everyone can afford, and no one can take away, even if you lose or change your job. Call 1-800-285-HEALTH now for a copy of the health care reform proposal America wants. That's 1-800-285-HEALTH. Call today. Paid for by the Coalition for Health Insurance Choices, funding by the Health Insurance Association of America.
Dear Hooked on Phonics, I cannot begin to tell you what your program has done for my son. I am shocked at the change in him since we got Hooked on Phonics. He used to cry when I wanted him to study. Now, he wants to stay up past his bedtime just to read. Hooked on Phonics has saved my son's academic life. It's a miracle. Signed SS Binghamton, New York. For Hooked on Phonics plus SRA Reading Laboratories, call 1-800-ABCDEFG.
Scott Motor Company has been selling and servicing fine motor cars since 1922. And right now they have the best selection of fine Cadillacs and Pontiacs that they've offered in many years. You can have the elegance of a 93 Cadillac or the excitement of a new Pontiac at a special deal. Scott offers rebates up to $2,000 or 4.9% APR financing. Get all the details at Scott Motor Company on the Highway 70 bypass across from Holiday Inn. And when you're there, see the 1993 all-new Fleetwood Cadillac rear-wheel drive. Learn about the safety of a Cadillac, the performance of a Cadillac, especially the North Star system. A motor so dependable, the first tune-up is recommended at 100,000 miles. In that large selection of motor vehicles, you'll also see a large selection of minivans. You know, Scott Motor Company has the car or minivan that you're thinking about. So visit Scott Motor Company, Highway 70 bypass across from the Holiday Inn, Goldsboro. Help the Shriners is coming Friday. Seymour Funeral Home urging you to enjoy the Wayne Shrine Club Chicken Fry, Friday 11 till 2 and from 4 till 7 at the old National Guard Armory at Jefferson and Beach Streets in Goldsboro. Eat in or drive through, and a drive-through at Herman Park. And in Mount Olive, across from Mount Olive Center, you'll get half a fried chicken, coleslaw, potato salad, roll, and iced tea or coffee. All proceeds go to the Wayne Shrine Club Building Fund, not to benefit the Shriners Crippled Children's Hospital. Seymour Funeral Home hopes you'll attend this Friday the Wayne Shrine Club Chicken Fry. It's good eating at Madison's Prime Rib, Berkeley Boulevard at Ash Street. Every Monday through Friday for lunch, Buddy Myers has a buffet, just $3.49, that includes 4 to 6 meats, veggies, salad, and dessert. $3.49. Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, that's Madison's famous weekend buffet with prime rib, steak and mushrooms, large steamed shrimp, fried shrimp, stuffed crabs, crab legs, crab salad, and 4 vegetables plus salad bar. $10.95 is all. Great eating, friendly atmosphere. Madison's Prime Rib, Berkeley Boulevard at Ash Street in Goldsboro.
1150 WGBR, Eastern Carolina's home for the Rush Limbaugh Show.
Playing some of the finest bumper music known to exist in music. Rush Limbaugh, the Excellence in Broadcasting Network. 594 radio stations, soon to be 600. Did that just drop out of there? Did that just, it was a quick fade. It wasn't a fade at all. It was just zip, it was gone. Anyway, my friends, on our television show last night, we played a clip from Benjamin Chavis, who is the new chairman of the NAACP. And I don't remember it verbatim, but in essence it was this. It's going to be a long, hot summer in the inner city if we don't get this stimulus bill passed and get all those jobs that are in that bill. And I made the point last night, this is what happens when you are able to get a verdict that suits you by virtue of intimidation and threat, violence, death, and destruction. Then it teaches you a lesson. Hey, maybe we can do it again. And here it comes. Anybody want to tell me that that doesn't constitute a threat or a degree of threat? You know, it's going to be a long, hot summer if we don't get this stimulus bill passed. And, my friends, long, hot summer is code language for we might have some unrest out there. We might have some riots. If we don't get this jobs package, we may have some burning cities. Is that what we're to assume from that comment? In case that is what we are to assume, gee, I hope that's not it. I hope I'm terribly wrong about this, but I doubt it. May I again remind you, Mr. Chavis, and anybody else who agrees with that line of thinking, there aren't any jobs in this bill. There may be some jobs here and there to build a swimming pool. There may be some part-time summer jobs that are minimum wage or barely above, but hardly any. This is a traditional pork barrel bill. There's nothing in this bill that's unique. There's nothing in this bill that is going to make one iota bit of economic difference. How many times does it have to be said, and by how many people does it have to be said, that when we have deficit spending of $300 billion every year, and that has not given us full employment and given us robust economic growth, what is another what is another $12 billion? Because he's agreed to take $4 billion out, and he'll probably agree to pare it down to even less. 8, if he gets it at all. Proving, by the way, that there is a lot of pork in the bill. I mean, if it was all morally and ethically justified as jobs, he wouldn't be taking any of it out. And he would be on television doing public appeals to the people of America, claiming that he is being shafted and screwed by the Republicans in the Senate for filibustering this bill. That's bad enough. Then, yesterday, and we're going to show you this clip on the television show we taped tonight, Senator Mitchell said basically the same thing. Senator Mitchell said, maybe it was early this morning, I don't know when. Senator George Mitchell, Majority Leader of the Senate, in essence said, if some inner cities have some trouble this summer, it may be because we don't get this stimulus bill passed. This is extortion. It really is extortion. And can I share with you something else? Senator Dole on Meet the Press on Sunday kept saying the big problem with this is they're not paying for it. Why don't they pay for it? If they pay for it, we got no problem with it. President Clinton says, how shameful are these people? Or I think his comment was, have they no shame after 12 years of deficit spending themselves, of raising the deficit from 1 trillion to 4? In fact, here's his quote right here. The speech to labor leaders. Folks, this is the crowd that had the government for 12 years. They took the deficit from 1 trillion to 4 trillion. Have they no shame? They're trying to stop it, President Clinton. And guess what? That's what the people elected you because of. You said you were going to reduce the deficit. You said it. And you're not. You know, there's a fine distinction that we should make. There's two things, reducing the deficit and reducing deficit spending. And President Clinton, if anything, suggests reducing deficit spending, but not reducing the deficit. The deficit doesn't go down. The national debt doesn't go down. It goes up by almost $1.5 trillion over the next 3 or 4 years. And when Senator Mitchell says, hey, what do you mean pay for it? This is the way we've always done it in the Senate. The American people are tired of the way it's always been done. Isn't it amazing? The Republicans have figured it out. The Republicans have listened to the people say, we're tired of the way it's being done. The Republicans are trying to change the way it's being done. The Democrats who won, saying they were going to change, are still doing the same old, same old. Okay, folks, okay. Because of your constant demand, we have found it necessary for all Ditto Heads to be properly equipped and attired. Thus was born the Ditto Head merchandise line, T-shirts, coffee cups, sweatshirts, the ever-popular gold leaf signature mug. If you want any of this stuff, here's the number, 800-6-RUSH-91. We accept Visa and MasterCard. 800-6-RUSH-91. The newest edition is a gold-plated ditto head wristwatch, 18 karat, with a leather strap. 1-800-6-RUSH-91.
This is WGBR News, Goldsboro's very own.
Good afternoon. At 1:30, it's 77 degrees. I'm Dory Roberts. We'll be joining ABC News and John Belmont for the latest in the Waco situation on WGBR 1150 AM.
Now backs up this morning's report that the feds had listening devices inside the Branch Davidian compound that showed David Koresh was becoming more violent. Special Agent Jeff Jamar answered the question this way at this morning's final briefing on the Waco standoff.
I won't discuss what our intelligence techniques are. I'll just say to you that we had outstanding intelligence in many respects, but very inconsistent and sometimes very inconclusive.
The White House says President Clinton is about to order an investigation into the fiery end of the siege. But Oregon Republican Senator Bob Packwood, for one, has no problem with the way Attorney General Janet Reno handled the situation.
Based upon the facts that I think she had, I think she acted correctly. She's taken responsibility, and I certainly hope it doesn't turn into a witch hunt, and we look for somebody to, some goat to hang for something that I think was properly handled.
The FBI reports there was shooting inside the compound as the fires broke out. But as to a report that one body has been found with a hole in the head, spokesman Jeff Jamar says it isn't known just when the shot was fired. I'm John Belmont, ABC News.
Join us at 1:30 for the next ABC News update on Waco. Join us for ABC News at 2 o'clock. In local news, a report that Sheriff James Sasser is seeking blacks to be sheriff's deputies prompted comment last night from Goldsboro City Councilman J.B. Rhodes. Councilman Rhodes has personally notarized 10 applications for black individuals to be submitted in hopes of becoming a sheriff's officer. The councilman said he hopes some of these applicants will get a job so there'll be more than one black officer in the patrol section of the sheriff's department. The Goldsboro City Council was told last night that work is being done on the Wayne Avenue rail crossing, but it's still not known when that street can be opened. That's because 3 contracts are involved in the work, and the signal light work now in progress is only the second phase of the total project. Paving will still remain to be done after signal work is completed. The new stretch of the Wayne Avenue from John to George Street cannot be used for safety reasons until railroad crossing work is done, according to city officials. Time for our forecast from the Weather Center.
Partly cloudy skies, bright, dry weather continuing the rest of today. Our temperature heading up close to 80 degrees this afternoon. And looks like the humidity will stay pretty low, too, so it'll be comfortable. Breezy, too. Increasing clouds tonight, lows in the upper 50s and low 60s. Then tomorrow, variably cloudy, a chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly in the afternoon. Highs in the low to mid-70s. I'm Bill Schmidt at the Weather Center.
Thanks, Bill. Right now it's 77 degrees as we return to the Rush Limbaugh Show on Goldsboro's very own 1150 WGBR.
From New York City via Satcom C5 in geosynchronous orbit 22,300 miles above mean sea level. Transponder 23 vertically polarized using CDAT, the Spectrum Efficient Digital Audio Transmission Algorithm, Channel 54. This is the Rush Limbaugh Program.
594 radio stations. We have our own rap song, Ditto's Rush. Doug Rice and the Ditto Heads, and they're from Dallas. And you'll turn it up, folks, and pulsate with it.
Listen up. Let me tell you my whole plan. When I listen to the radio, Rush Limbaugh, he's the man. Rush who? Limbaugh, the greatest in the land. No other talk show host can do it like he can. Documented, almost always right. Rush Limbaugh knows it all. If you really want to know what's going on, just give the man a call. updates on Gorby, New Age, the dangerous mob, and there's a gays and the homeless. Yo, man, get a job. It's the idea. It's the idea. It's the idea. It's the idea.
Tell him. Tell him about that man. Tell him. Tell him about that man. Tell him about that man. Tell him. Tell him about that man.
On the cutting edge of society, day in and day out. He'll tell you the news, what's going on, and what it's all about. With talent, so much talent, it's almost hard to believe. He talks to you from New York City, higher top EIB.
Tell him about that man. Tell him about that man. Tell him about that man. Tell him about that man.
Wanted to call them testicles and testosterones when they traveled with us on the EIB tour, but they wouldn't go for it. Doug Rice and the Cutting Edge. Here's Janet in Virginia Beach. Welcome to the program.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Yeah, what I wanted to discuss was this deficit increase, the size of the jobs bill. I mean, what kind of jobs are these? Swimming pool builders and more road crews and graffiti abatement technicians. You know,
graffiti abatement technicians.
Well, I don't suppose those.
I like that.
I just call them that because I don't think so politically correct an administration is going to call them wall washers. But at any
Well,
rate,
you know what kind of yeah, that's right. There's like vision control coordinators or window washers.
Yes.
But you know, all this is it's nothing unusual. It's not change. It's paying back a bunch of mayors and other people who helped Bill Clinton along the way.
Well, it isn't changing. In fact, in Sunday's paper, George Will said the same thing. He's pursuing a 60s agenda, and he has surrounded himself by a bunch of freeze-dried hippies to help him. And that's all he's doing.
I want to remind people, we pointed this out last week, and I want to remind you again, lest you think that the Republicans are standing in the way simply because he's Bill Clinton, he's a Democrat, and they are Republicans. There is budget authority, as we speak, to spend $93 billion that has yet to be spent from the FY 92-93 budget, the one we're currently in. 93-94 budget, which is the one we're... No, it's 92-93, that's right. I was headed right first time. We're in FY 92-93 right now. There's $93 billion in what are called stimulus funds. So you might say, well, why doesn't the president just go get some of that? If the budget, if the spending authority is already there, why didn't he go get some of that? And the answer is that none of that money is earmarked in the same places or for the same places that he wants to spend it. He wants to pay people back. He's got to pay people back for helping him out. Now, some of the money in the $93 billion is available for the same type of spending, but not the specific projects that are identified in this bill. There's also something else that I want to point out. By the way, just realize there's $93 billion there that the Senate could not stop him from spending. $93 billion. They couldn't stop him from spending. It's there. Bob Dole is the source on this, by the way, should you need one. Bob Dole, the Senate Minority Leader. But here's another example. We reminded you of this the last time this all happened, and I think it's worthy of repeating. Part of this stimulus package is $4.5 billion for unemployment compensation extension benefits, paying unemployment compensation to people whose benefits have expired. They've been on unemployment so long that they've gone through their allocation. The Senate said, President Clinton, we'll be glad to fund that. We'll be glad to go along with it, but why don't you just go, in order to pay for it, why don't you go ahead and take something from the next year's budget that you plan on cutting and just moving it forward to this year? In other words, if you're going to cut $4.5 billion from defense, why don't you just do it now instead of waiting till the next fiscal year? And that way you can pay for it and we're even. Because there is something that was good about the 1990 budget deal, and those are spending caps. That's why they've got the word emergency in front of the stimulus package, in case you don't know it. If you're wondering what the emergency is, there is no emergency. You got to be able to prove or declare an emergency in order to spend more than the 1990 budget deal allows in every budget item, because there's a cap on it. One of the good things that came out of the deal. That's why it says emergency stimulus package in front of it. And given those caps, the Republicans have said, hey, just go get something you're going to cut next year, cut it this year, and you pay for it. They've said no. We don't want to do that. That takes flexibility away from the president. So proving that cutting the budget is not what they're all about. Cutting the budget, reducing spending while they say it and say it well, that's not their intent. They've got plenty of options to do that and have passed on all of them. Harry in Old Bridge, New Jersey. Hi, welcome to the Rush Limbaugh program.
Hi, Jimmy Rush.
Hi.
Making dittos to you.
Thank you, sir, very much.
The reason for my call was that I had watched your TV show the other day, and you seem struggling for a definition for male lesbianism.
Not at all. Not at all. I know exactly what male lesbianism is.
You do?
Sure, I wasn't struggling.
Well, it just so happens that it brought to mind a little humor. 40 years ago, 1950, I attended Rutgers University. I had a professor who was teaching me a class in Western civilization, who later on became department head.
How well did you do, by the way? A little departure. How well did you do in Western Civ?
I think I got a C+.
Well,
which wasn't bad. But he used to brag that he was a male lesbian, and that's what brought me to mind.
Wait a minute. In 1959?
1950.
50?
That's correct.
1950, 1 year before I was born, there was a male lesbian at Princeton?
No, this was at Rutgers University.
Rutgers, and he's teaching Western Civ?
He was. He was born on the island of Lesbos, which made him a lesbian, and he was very proud of it.
All right, I bit big time. I bit. Gee whiz, I just bit bigger than anything, didn't I?
I guess so.
I bit a whole lot of that.
Well, we just tried to bring a little humor to you.
Yeah, you
after
did.
Waco,
Born
I think we need
on the
it.
island of Lesbos.
That's correct. Look it up. It's true as can be.
I believe you. You got a C+ in Western Civ, you would know.
Uh-huh.
All right, Harry, thanks for the call. It's a good thing. If he got an A in Western Civ, he'd be one of the greatest threats to America today. But since he didn't do that well in Western Civ, he's not a threat. We'll, why'd you call taking a huge bite, folks? That's, okay, yeah, I'll bite. You people like to call up here and trick the host. We ought to have an hour. See if you can trick the host someday. Might be fun to do. On a Friday. We'll take a break. Be back with more of your calls in just a minute.
Listening to the EIB Network. On January 20th, did President Bill Clinton declare war on productive Americans? How can you fight back? Send for the Clinton-era survival kit. Yours absolutely free from the American Spectator. Sealed in a confidential tamper-proof pouch. The Clinton-era survival kit provides exclusive reports on Bill, Hillary, and their plans to raise your taxes, radicalize the legal system, and indoctrinate your children. This is inside information the liberal news media wants suppressed at all cost. You'll get all this free, plus an up-close profile of the man most feared by the Clinton administration, Rush Limbaugh. Call 800-441-5757 to get your free, sealed, confidential Clinton-era survival kit, along with 12 issues of the American Spectator, the nation's most fearless magazine, for just $34.95. Remember, it's President Clinton now. He's fit, he's rested, and he's coming after your wallet. Call 800-441-5757 for your free Clinton-era survival kit. Call today, call now. 800-441-5757 and ask for the American Spectator.
The Hunter Pork Center, the Pork King, is so positive that you'll enjoy their quality pork. They're going to give you a free barbecue sandwich on Friday or Saturday. Friday from 9 to 4, Saturday 9 to 2. And always good buys at the Hunter Pork Center. Come on in. You'll find crackling cakes, buy one, get one free. Freshly frozen pork loins, $1.79 a pound. Lard, one stand, $10, two stands, $15. And a good barbecue, buy 1 pound, get one free. The Hunter Pork Center, 1 mile west of Nahata School.
Occasion, you know your family likes to get together. You know it's only right. Good memories last forever. When the workday ends and you're among friends, you'll come back again. Make every day a Caitlin's occasion.
Caitlin's in Cobblestone Place on Spence Avenue.
Bobby Denning Furniture takes this time to remind you, Friday is the Shriners Chicken Fry. Get your plates for eat-in or takeout at the Old Goldsboro National Guard, or drive-through takeout at Herman Park Center and in Mount Olive on Highway 55 beside Roberts Machine and Supply. Plates are served from 11 till 2 and from 4 till 7 with half a fried chicken, coleslaw, potato salad, roll, and iced tea or coffee. All proceeds benefit the Wayne Shrine Building Fund, not for the Crippled Children's Hospital. This invitation from Bobby Denning Furniture, East Ash Street, Goldsboro, and Brazil Avenue, Mount Olive.
Ooh-wee, serial port, parallel interface, modem, fax, RS-232-AB, switch your mouse. Why, this is confusing.
Well, stop by AIM Electronics. See the new line of computer accessories. QBS and AIM Electronics can make your computer connection simple. AIM Electronics has a new and expanded inventory of computer accessories. QBS with a complete line of computer accessories at competitive prices, and AIM Electronics that you won't believe. QBS and AIM Electronics, making the right connections for you. AIM Electronics, 411 East Ash Street, Goldsboro.
Always on the right. This is Rush Limbaugh on Goldsboro's very own WGBR. Hi, welcome back. A little late here, was listening to weird message on my voicemail. I have two means by which people get hold of me. People that I really never want to be bothered by, I give them a certain number. And then there's my home number. And periodically I check in with the other number. And there's some fascinating stuff. People, I don't know how they're getting the number. Well, anyway, I'm back, and we're here in New York on the EIB network, 800-282-2882, Tempe, Arizona. B, hello. Welcome to our broadcast.
What a thrill. I found your program back in October, and it kept me from going into a pit hole of depression and oppression over the election.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you have in the audience. We go about to things with good cheer here every day. So you should just tune in every day and you'll be fine.
That's right. I wondered if we don't get your program until noontime here, so perhaps you've discussed it, but I wonder if the Waco Holocaust will be a substance of the symbol of the government run amok.
A lot of people think so. As you will hear when the program begins out in Phoenix, the first hour of the program, I think, virtually every possible angle is covered. I read a lot of mail from the CompuServe mail I've gotten today. I take a lot of phone calls, and a lot of people get close to echoing the sentiments you just said.
Yes, because my family and has suffered governmental oppression, in past years. And I just think people don't realize it's like the frog in the hot water. A little more heat, a little more heat, a little more is lost. And I think it's very frightening, actually. The person might have been nuts, but...
Might have been?
Well, the people who followed him didn't judge him that way, but they had this awful sound blaring night after night, which would send somebody nuts if they weren't. And lady...
That's right. What were they playing?
All sorts of things. Tibetan chants and annoying noises. And just everything, anything that would annoy these people and break them. I suppose they were trying to exhaust them and break them so that they would come out. But I consider that government oppression. I think the whole thing was very badly handled. Anyway, it's nice to have your viewpoint.
Thank you very much.
And here.
Appreciated, B. I really do. I'm glad you called. Maybe, they'd have had better luck if they'd have played some dolphin voices. Because, dolphins are smart. Maybe those people would have understood them. And could have sent a message in that way. That's right. They were playing a lot of weird stuff besides the Tibetan chants. And there were some jokes going around about some of the stuff they could play if they really wanted to force those people out. Who's next? Bob in West Covina, California. Hi, welcome to the program.
Hi, Rush. Glad to talk to you.
Thanks very much.
Out of my ears so far.
Thank you.
Hey, about this Branch Davidians thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody's lost the fact that those agents were there lawfully in the first place with a search warrant signed by a judge. There had to be probable cause to issue that search warrant. And there was obviously large caliber automatic weapons inside that compound, as evidenced by the videotape of the first assault. They also had 4 agents dead there. Now, I don't know what the people want these guys to do, but they can't walk away from that. Maybe the actions taken yesterday were wrong and done improperly, but something had to be done. This couldn't go on forever.
Well, I'm not sure, after having been exposed to all the diverse points of view about this, I'm not sure precisely how I feel about it. Anytime you have children in the mix, of course, it's going to change the emotional equation, and it's going to impact people's opinions and cause them to change them certain ways. But I think that ultimately what you're saying is that the responsibility for what happened has to be placed on the shoulders of David Koresh. He was the one who caused all of this to happen. He is the one who wanted it to happen the way it did. I mean, he got what he wanted, as he continually stated throughout. And our unwillingness to do that is symptomatic of our society at large today.
I totally agree, and I think we're putting our police agencies in a position where they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. And I think this Rodney King thing is going to backfire as far as that's concerned.
Well, that's going to backfire in a lot of ways. You got the precedent now of double jeopardy, and you've got the precedent of the threat to the sanctity of a community and peace in a community being used successfully to influence the outcome of a trial. So successful was it that you now have the chairman of the NAACP using the same type of disguised threat for the passage of a specific bill in Congress that he wants. So you're right, I agree. I think that there is, in general, in our country, there has been a loss of respect for authority. There's a lack of respect for it. In fact, there's a condemnation of it. Anybody who attempts to enforce the law and who is authorized to use force to enforce the law is considered now somebody depriving people of freedom, and as such is an oppressor. And that leads us to where we are, where nothing is right, nothing is wrong, it's just okay. Whatever you choose to do is okay. And anybody who doesn't like that is a bigot. That's where we are, folks. We'll take a break and be back right after that.
You're listening to the EIB Network.
Hey, listen up, folks. You can now remove dirt and dust from your home and reduce your family's allergy symptoms by simply replacing the inefficient disposable filter you now use with the permanent allergy-free electrostatic air filter. The allergy-free filter offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. The only maintenance needed to keep your filter in working order is a thorough flush with a garden hose every 30 days. And comments pour in here. I've seen dozens of them. Try this. The dust and musty smell in our house have been eliminated. Our breathing improved immediately. Now, these comments are incredible. They're made by everybody who buys these filters. Now, you'd expect to pay $150 to $200 for a filter of this quality. The manufacturer's everyday price is $79.95, but if you call now, you can own an allergy-free filter for only $59.95. Allergy-free has filters available in all sizes, including a flexible filter for window units. Order today. Have your filter size ready along with your credit card. The number to call is 800-324-4247. 800-324-4247.
The world's largest circus under the big top, the Clyde Vinny Cole Brothers Circus, is coming your way. It's family entertainment at its very best, with tigers, bears, spectacular acrobats, astonishing trapeze stars, jugglers, balance artists, clowns, 3 rings of exciting entertainment under a big top, larger than a football field. See the earth tremble under the 3 rings of elephants. See the human cannonball blasted from the world's largest cannon. Thrill to the real circus. The spectacular Clyde Vinny Cole Brothers Circus, the world's largest under the big top, entertaining generations of Americans for more than a century.
Opens tomorrow through Thursday at the Wayne County Fairgrounds with free kids tickets at Berkeley Mall merchants. Tickets on sale through tonight at JCPenney and tomorrow at the circus only. See your paper for show times and other details. And don't miss the Clyde Vinny Cole Brothers Circus.
The Shriners this Friday. Southern Bank and Trust Company urges you to attend the Wayne Shrine Club Chicken Fry this Friday from 11 till 2 and 4 until 7 p.m. at the National Guard Armory in Herman Park in Goldsboro and across from Mount Olive Center. You get a complete fried chicken meal and help the Shriners Building Fund at the same time. This invitation to the Wayne County Shrine Chicken Fry is from Southern Bank and Trust Company in Mount Olive and many other eastern North Carolina towns. Member FDIC and an equal opportunity lender. Your community bank since 1901.
You always find the best for less at Leith in Goldsboro. They offer the very best selection of brand new cars and trucks at the very best prices you'll find anywhere. 4-door family sedans like the Plymouth Sundance with factory-installed air conditioning for under $8,500. Sports enthusiasts find the Lasers dynamic style of performance for only $11,800. For the best selection, the best service, and the very best price, the only name you need to remember is Leith. Leith Chrysler Plymouth Dodge Isuzu, Highway 70 west of Goldsboro.
With half his brain time behind his back, here's more Rush on 1150 WGBR.
Talent on loan from God. Half my brain tied behind my back to make it fair. Rush Limbaugh from the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies, the 4th branch of government. Here we go back to the phones at 800-282-2882 to Cincinnati. This is Laura. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm just fine. Extremely nervous.
No, don't look. This is the first time you've called?
Yes, the very first time.
No need to be nervous. Look, you've never heard anybody treated ill-mannered on this show, have you?
No, not by you, no.
Of course not.
No.
No, we are kind, patient,
to get it done, and we're going to get that budget done, I think, largely intact and in record time.
Mitchell, asked about passing health care reform, says he hopes it will get passed this year. Consumer confidence improved quite a bit this month after 3 monthly declines. In its latest survey, the Conference Board, the research organization, finds more Americans upbeat in their assessment of conditions and moderately more optimistic for the next few months. Exxon officials are trying to convince scientists that predictions of long-term damage from the Exxon Valdez oil spill 4 years ago are exaggerated. Research geochemist Ted Bentz presented his findings today at a symposium in Atlanta.
The message is really that what traces of Exxon Valdez crude residues may be present are restricted to nearshore environments, and they're very small increments.
Ben says much of the oil found in wildlife in Prince William Sound, Alaska, was not crude spilled from the Exxon Valdez, but from natural oil seeps upstream. However, Bentz does admit some Valdez crude was found on the shoreline. The district attorney in Wilmington, North Carolina, concludes there was negligence in the death of actor Brandon Lee, but he says it is too early to tell whether criminal charges will be filed. Lee died after being shot on the set of a movie by a gun that was supposed to have been loaded with blanks. You're listening to ABC News. The Blues